but what's a story without a good character? I don't know. Probably not a great book. Hello! Welcome to my February wrap-up. So this month I got through a nice little chunk of books. Most of them I actually listened to. I work in an office. I have 9 hours a day to listen to audiobooks every day, so I tend to be listening more than physically reading now. But I'm getting through a lot more, which is really exciting. This month I read Dear Edward by Ann Napolitano, Artemis by Andy Weir, Going Clear by Lawrence Wright, the entire Themis Files series by Sylvain Neuvel, which includes Sleeping Giants, Waking Gods, and Only Human. Red Rising and Golden Sun, the first 2 books in the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. And I'm going to be finishing today A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, the 3rd book in the Shades of Magic series. So let's talk. Okay, let's start with Dear Edward. I'm going to be the quickest about this one because it's contemporary fiction. I don't normally read contemporary fiction. I had to read it for Barnes & Noble Book Club because I did facilitate that for a year and a half. It's now over, which is really sad. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was so beautiful. The character development was absolutely incredible. The way that the book is structured, you have a back and forth chapter type situation, and there's one continuous timeline happening on one side with one character. He's the main character who lives through a massively traumatic event. And then on the other side of the book, going back and forth, you have multiple characters leading up to this traumatic event. And it is just a beautiful story of healing and of grief and trauma and trying to find ways to heal after suffering from major trauma from a kid's perspective, an age 12 to I think 15-year-old. But I thought it was absolutely beautiful. If you don't always read sci-fi and fantasy, this book is worth the hype 100%. I think it was a book of the month last month, so it did receive a lot of hype. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, beautifully written. I think Ann Napolitano did such an amazing job, and I'm very glad to have read it. Then I read Artemis. I don't think Andy Weir understood while writing this what it might do if he actually wrote a character's description, because I didn't get that throughout the entire book. It took the entire book almost to figure out that the main character had long hair. Almost the entire book, just to get that one tiny fact. The only other thing we got the entire time was that she was Middle Eastern. We got almost nothing about any of the characters except for their ethnicity. So that was annoyingly broad, considering how hyper-detailed he was in writing this world of Artemis on the moon. I listened to a podcast where he was interviewed about this book, and he talked about the detailed economics of Artemis and how he did all this research into figuring out how much it would cost to get just Chinese food shipped from Earth. So the science in this was really well researched, but there's not a single character you can connect to in this, even the one whose perspective you're getting the entire time, which really, really sucks. So I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. If he would have developed literally any of the characters, I probably would have given it more, because the story was really cool. But what's a story without a good character? I don't know. Probably not a great book. Then I read Going Clear by Lawrence Wright. This is nonfiction. Sometimes I get in a mood and I have to read nonfiction, and this month I was really into cults and stuff, so I read this book about Scientology. I live maybe 20 minutes away from the spiritual center of Scientology, and so it's like always a subject where I live, and I thought I knew quite a bit about it, but then I read this and I learned so much about L. Ron Hubbard himself where I was like, this dude was nuts. Who are interested in any way, shape, or form in cults, in learning more about Scientology from a far away perspective, I would definitely recommend this. Lawrence Wright does a fantastic job of smoothly getting through the facts of Scientology from the beginning to where it is now. So definitely recommend it. I loved it. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Great little break from fiction for me. Then I read the entire Themis Files series. Oh my god. It was fantastic. I had so much fun with it. It was the most fun that I've had reading in a really long time. Not to say it was the best thing that I read, but I had more fun reading it than anything else. The story was super interesting. The character development was really good. The structure itself is really good. I do have a review for the entire series up on my channel from last week, so if you're interested, that is a nice little like 10-minute video kind of talking about what I liked and disliked. But yeah, I really loved this. All but one book got 5 out of 5 stars, so definitely recommend, especially listening to it. I would absolutely get the audio for this series because they have a different person speaking everyone's parts. So that's really cool, really immersive, and it's almost like you're listening to a movie, so yeah. I also finished Red Rising and Golden Sun. Both of those I thought were great. I needed a little step into dystopia. It had been long enough, and I was really searching for an adult dystopia that was going to be engaging during my big sci-fi phase that I'm having right now. I gave both books 4 out of 5 stars. There are a few little things that annoy me throughout, but nothing major. I'm really enjoying it. I plan on finishing the entire series. I am interested that Pierce Brown is still writing this series, so I don't know how much longer it's supposed to be. I think I heard somewhere 7 or 8 total books, so I do have quite a while. I think this is a book series I am going to buy the physical copies of, though. So far, I really, really love them, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of them. Finally, I'm going to be finishing V.E. Schwab's A Conjuring of Light. This is the 3rd book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. It's amazing. I obviously haven't finished it yet, but no matter how this ends, I don't care because it has been so fun to read. The problem is that it's taken me 2 years to finish the entire series, and what sucks about that is that I love it so much. So normally people say, well, you must not like it if you haven't finished it yet, but I listen to so much now that sometimes when I come home I just don't want to read because I've been hearing it all day. So it's taking me a while to get through this. I'll have it finished hopefully tonight. I've been saying that all month. I keep making posts that are like, gonna finish it today, but I haven't yet. Hopefully today, we'll see, maybe tomorrow, but either way, I read this in February. This book series so effectively has convinced me that I need to read every single thing that V.E. Schwab has ever written. So I'm very excited. I have in my Amazon account right now, I have 2 used hardcovers for like 11 bucks each in very good condition of Vicious and Vengeful. Very excited to read those next. So yeah, that's what I read in February. If you want to talk about any of these books, please do by commenting down below, by hitting me up on my Instagram, by hitting me up on my Twitter, or by hitting me up on my Goodreads, which is linked down below. But yeah, let's talk about books. That's literally all I want to do all day is just talk about books. So, bye!